Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the invitation. But sorry that I can't participate as I wish. I will try to briefly summarize some of the issues I see with the status of nuclear energy in Europe and some of the challenges it faces. Starting, of course, with the global situation. Needless to say, Europe is the oldest and still the most important region in the world when it comes to nuclear energy. EU 27 alone has 104 operating reactors and represents 25% of the world reactors in terms of unit and 28% in terms of capacity. It's worth noting that it's much less in terms of new build. There are officially 3 units under construction. That's 6% of the total, and a little more if one accounts for the projects in Hungary. There are, of course, also reactors in Switzerland, in the UK, which add to the importance of this region. And we see mixed trends when it comes to new plans, with a lot of countries committed to a nuclear phase out. On the contrary, pending decisions of new build in France and the UK, and some fresh announcements with not much substance yet in Finland or Sweden, for instance. The nuclear capacity and the nuclear generation has decreased over years in Europe. Only 3 reactors started in 20 years in Czech Republic, Romania, and Finland. In the same time, 34 units were closed, and in total, 72 units, 72 reactors have been permanently shut down in EU 27 since the start of the nuclear program in this area. This leads to an obvious situation of an aging fleet. Only 3 constructions started since 1990, and only 2 of them were completed yet. There are, of course, also 2 pending projects in Hungary, and 2 projects in the UK were started within EU 28. This leads to a serious aging problem. The average of years of operation within EU is 36 years compared to an average of 31 worldwide. And this age has continuously increased since the early 80s. In total, 90 units have reached 31 years of operation or more, and 30 units, even more, have reached 41 years of operation. This leads to a challenge of maintaining safety, of course, of this aging nuclear fleet. In the meantime, there's an increased pressure for life extension for financial reasons, which leads to an industrial challenge to deliver, as we start seeing in some countries, and a financial challenge to do it in a competitive way regarding the increasing competition that renewables represent even to existing nuclear reactors. When it comes to new builds, we have some experience now, but I mean, we can see new projects popping up, like the recent news about offers for new reactors in Poland, and you can see some of the figures there for new reactors, all of them for per unit for 6 units proposed. These projected costs of new reactors altogether are first likely unrealistic when they project reduced cost compared to the existing new builds. Even with that decrease, they are likely to be not competitive with the cheapest renewables now available on the market. And also one should note, of course, that the projected startup for any of these new reactors, whether it's in Poland or elsewhere, I mean, any reactor which has not started to be built yet is not likely to be completed before 2035 or even 2040, like is the projected deadline for Poland. We have, of course, examples like the one of Flamanville 3 in France. Construction started in 2007. Completion is now projected by the end of next year. The initial cost was projected to be a little above 3 billion euros. It's now expected to reach at least 20 billion, and you should add at least 7 billions of financial costs due to the delay. That's more than 3 times the initial construction time and initial projected costs. And when it comes to new EPR projects of a new type with a new design that is supposed to be cheaper and simpler to build, the current French government estimates are that a first unit could be online not before 2035 or 37, and that the total cost for 6 units would be higher than the one proposed by France to Poland, with an average cost per unit of 8.7 to 10.7 billion euros. When we project these figures about the nuclear situation and trends in the perspective of the evolution of the electric system in Europe, we can see that there's a big shift in EU 27 electricity generation. In 2021, nuclear power delivered 733 terawatt hours. That's 26% of the total. Renewables, excluding hydro, provided 25%, almost the same. And we can see, as illustrated by this graph, continuous growth of renewables versus an increasing decline of nuclear generation in EU 27. And this trend is likely to reinforce through current reinforcement of EU objectives being discussed, reinforcements of greenhouse gas emission reductions objectives by 2030, and as a consequence, reinforcements of projects for the share of renewables in energy consumption. And that means, of course, that the pace of developing renewables is likely to increase, while at the same time there's no objective set for nuclear power and no real significant role foreseen as a contribution to meeting any objective by 2030. Finally, some words about the current geopolitical situation, just to emphasize that European Union is faced with some dependency on Russian nuclear delivery and technology. Russia accounted for 20% of uranium deliveries to the European Union in 2021, and Kazakhstan accounted for 23% more. But also Russia is an important source of enriched uranium, with more than 30% of enriched uranium used in the EU in 2021 coming from TENEX. We also have a situation of Russian reactors being operated or constructed in Europe. I mean, there are 18 reactors of the VVER technology operating in 5 countries, where they represent between 12% and up to 50% of electric generation. And that, of course, is also a geopolitical concern when it comes to dependency on the technology and the delivery of the fuel. Finally, we are faced with this unprecedented and illegal situation of a military occupation of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which leads, by accounts of the IAEA special report, to a continuous threat and a continuously degrading safety situation. And that also raises new questions about security of continuing nuclear operation within the European Union. That's it for me. Thank you for your attention, and welcome to any questions. Thanks.